If you're always tired, it's probably not just bad luck. These habits are secretly draining your energy and negatively affecting your sleep. And once you stop doing them, your mornings and your days in general are gonna feel completely different. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day today, and I hope it gets even better from watching this video. As you guys know, I've been on this quest to heal my nervous system, my hormones. If you've gone down that rabbit hole, you know it's all connected. It's also related to stress and so many other factors, but also sleep. So that's what we're conquering today, okay? It's hard to heal your nervous system and just feel your best, even feel your most healthiest, happiest, most productive if you are constantly drained, tired, sleepy. Like, life really is not that fun if that's how you're feeling. So I've compiled a whole list of mistakes that you're making and then solutions so that we can actually fix the root of the problem. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Nika, welcome. I make videos all about self-improvement, but I like to make them very actionable. Like, here are the tips, the tricks, the to-do list, if you will, to make a difference that you're actually gonna notice. So if that works for you, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. You can also check out my Instagram if you want to see more content. And without further ado, let's get into it. The first one is probably very, very obvious, but I cannot make this video without mentioning this because I feel like so many of us struggle with this, and it's scrolling yourself into insomnia. Scrolling right before you go to sleep is one of the worst things you can do for yourself. It triggers cortisol. The blue light obviously wakes you up, but also just think about the amount of information your brain has to process from you just watching 10 TikToks, which, let's be honest, most of us watch more if we're spending time scrolling on TikTok. But just imagine 10 different TikToks, completely different topics, different people, different emotions, different connections your brain makes. Like, that's a lot to bombard yourself with right before you go to sleep. It really is the opposite of a relaxing experience. And you won't notice that until you actually stop and then see the difference, because it is so dramatic. So I would highly recommend having like a digital cutoff time. 2 hours before bed would be ideal. If you absolutely need to do something behind a screen, use blue light glasses, but I would highly recommend staying off social media, especially. If you can't do 2 hours, do 1 hour or do 30 minutes. Just try it out. I promise your sleep is gonna change for the better. And also your overall mood when you wake up. Number 2, you treat bedtime like a mystery. What I mean by that is going to bed at random times, waking up at random times. The best thing for you is to have a very solid sleep routine. A way to fix this is to have the same wake up time every single morning. That trains your natural body clock so much better than like forcing yourself to go to sleep sooner. Because as we all know, if you're not tired, if your brain is running, like, it's really hard to get yourself to like switch off and go to sleep. So one way to train yourself is to literally just start waking up at the same time every single morning. It's really simple, requires a bit of discipline, but you can do it. Number 3, your nervous system never gets the memo. The biggest mistake that you're making is you're going straight from stimulation to sleep. You need those natural cues for your body and your nervous system to calm down. That's why a nighttime routine is so amazing, because as you start to make these steps consistently, your brain is like, oh, it's time to wind down because we're going to sleep in approximately 1 hour. Like, I get that these tips are so basic, but most often we overcomplicate this, and the things that really help us are very simple. So having a wind down routine, a nighttime routine, whatever you want to call it, that's very calming to your nervous system, which basically means the opposite of stressful. That's going to help you fall asleep faster. It's going to let you have a much better quality sleep. You're going to be able to wake up a lot easier and feel a lot more rested, obviously. When you're creating this nighttime routine, think of all the senses. Like, I like to dim my lights, so I have very warm tone lighting. You can even have like red light bulbs. I have very relaxing scents, so I use a diffuser with like lavender oil, or I like eucalyptus oil. That's very relaxing to me. You can get one of those like sprays for your pillow or your bedding. A clean, calming, relaxing bedroom. Just creating a space that's like a sleep sanctuary, basically. I love having a calming tea, like chamomile tea. I love doing something simple that is proven to calm down your nervous system, like legs on the wall, so easy to do, or very simple breath work. Like, I just like to breathe in and then sigh like a very long breath out. That really helps to calm me down a lot. It should feel kind of like a spa. Obviously, there's so many tips when it comes to calming down your nervous system. I'll leave a playlist down below of the videos I've done so far if you want to dive into this topic, because that obviously affects our sleep so much, and there's so many more tips and so much more useful information than just like legs up the wall and breathing. So definitely check that out if that's something you feel like you're struggling with. But I also can't talk about nervous system health without mentioning something that really helped me, something that really transformed the way I feel and the way I process the bad, traumatic, stressful things that have happened to me in my life, and like the negative effects they had on my nervous system, is therapy. I feel like it's also so normal for us to have a season where we just feel a little bit off or we're in a rut, and therapy has helped me so much through those seasons, especially when you feel like everyone around you is having a great time. Right now, for example, this season always feels like a fresh start. Like, so many people are moving or starting a new job or starting a new degree. There's so many things happening, and it can really feel like you're behind, or if you're in a rut, like the contrast just feels so bad, and I totally get that. So whether you're struggling with a dysregulated nervous system, loneliness, or you're experiencing those seasonal shifts in mood, social burnout, or just feeling off, therapy can really be that steady support system. A therapist can help you understand what's really going on emotionally and guide you through those harder seasons. And therapy really isn't just for when things completely fall apart. It's also for moments when something just feels off and you can't explain why. So BetterHelp is the paid partner of today's video, and they are making it a lot easier to start therapy from anywhere online. Just fill out a short questionnaire and get matched with a licensed or credentialed therapist in as little as a few days. And if your first therapist isn't a good fit, you can switch anytime at no extra cost. They have over 7,000 reviews and a 4.3 Trustpilot rating, so BetterHelp is definitely a platform you can trust. So click the link in the description box or go to betterhelp.com/Nika and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Number 4, you're a couch potato all day. I've been there, okay? No shame in this game. I am a professional couch potato, but I've learned that I need to move my body. I need exercise to burn enough energy to crash out in the evening. Like, otherwise my body does not get those triggers to naturally just shut off, because my mind is just wired constantly, and if I don't burn off that energy somewhere, my sleep gets heavily affected. And obviously exercise has so many benefits for your mind as well. So the goal is to move consistently, not perfectly. You don't need some insane workout routine. You don't need to become ripped beyond belief and become a gym girly. There's so many ways to move your body, whether that's just a little stretching break during work, some walks, light exercise, a little jog, like playing badminton with your friends, going rollerblading, going swimming. Like, there's so many ways to move your body that are not really boring. Like, I am not a gym person, okay? So I found different ways to move my body that are actually fun to me, like badminton, like climbing, like reformer Pilates. Find interesting, fun ways to move your body, and I swear so many things will improve. I don't even have it in me to go through a whole list right now because there's so many benefits, but your sleep is definitely one of them. Number 5, you're running on coffee and sugar crashes. To be completely honest, I have never been a coffee person. Like, it's always made me shaky. I love the taste. I just cannot handle the repercussions. But I used to be someone who ate a very high carb diet, and that made my energy levels very unstable, and I didn't even notice it until I switched my diet to be more high protein and high fat. I still eat carbs. I don't like cut off carbs completely, obviously. Try out what works for you, but obviously a very high carb, high sugar, highly processed diet is not going to make you feel good, and it's going to result in you feeling drained, having those midday crashes, like not sleeping very well. A very easy fix if you are a coffee lover is to stop drinking coffee 6 to 8 hours before you go to sleep. Balance meals with protein and fiber, and also very importantly, keep dinner lighter and eat dinner 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. Number 6, your mornings start in the dark. One mistake that I am definitely guilty of is that I go on my phone right as I wake up because the light from my phone wakes me up. Obviously, the best case scenario would be sunlight. Sunlight within 30 minutes of waking up resets your circadian rhythm, and it also boosts energy. So the best thing you can do, obviously, is to open up the blinds, get that natural sunlight. Or obviously a lot of us live in places where in the winter that is not possible. So a sunrise alarm clock is amazing. It basically wakes you up as like a rising sun would. You can also buy certain like light panels. I personally haven't looked into this yet, but I've seen some people talk about it, where you basically look like a lizard and just like sit in front of this light panel. Like, it sounds kind of silly, but honestly, I'm definitely intrigued to try it out because the winters are not fun when it comes to that. Number 7, I already kind of mentioned, but I feel like it's very important, and that is that you might be not eating enough throughout the day, which a lot of us women are very guilty of, and then you're binging before bed. That is basically a recipe for a restless night, aka disaster. I'm just kidding, that's very dramatic. So obviously eat balanced meals throughout the day. Stop eating 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. And if you're hungry late into the night, after you've already had your dinner, eat like a small snack, like a banana, yogurt, a few nuts. That usually does the trick, okay? But try to stop eating 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. Number 8, your bedroom isn't a sleep sanctuary cave. Okay, we've already gone over how to trigger your senses that it's time for bed, and that has a lot to do with your bedroom, but there's a few more things you can do. So first of all, blackout curtains are amazing. Make sure you open them in the morning to get that sunlight, obviously. Also a cool room, ideal 18 to 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, I know a lot of you who like a hot home will be disheveled by this news. I don't know how you guys sleep, okay? Like, I have a friend who literally sleeps in a sauna, and I have the worst sleep every time I sleep over. So please, for the love of God, try it out. You're gonna sleep so much better. Like, give it a week. Also, an eye mask, if you don't want to invest into blackout curtains, is great. And earplugs as well. It might take you a little bit of time to get used to them, but it's so worth it, especially if you sleep by a busy street, construction, a snoring partner, you know. Number 9, you're overthinking yourself awake. I might ruffle some feathers with this one, but as we've said, like working, bombarding yourself with social media right before bed, but also watching anything that is stressful for you. Like, I cannot watch certain movies during the night because I have the most stressful dreams afterwards and my sleep is heavily affected. Or even reading like non-fiction books, like self-help books, for example, or books to improve your career or anything like that. You want to keep the media that you consume mostly fiction and something that's not gonna stress you out so much or cause any kind of fear, anxiety, etc. If you have existential thoughts, which might be hard to, fix sometimes, a junk journal is amazing, like just brain dumping whatever is going on up here, putting it on a page and being like, okay, it's here. I don't need to think about it anymore. I've wrote it all down. We can revisit it tomorrow. Why do I feel like I'm running a cult today? I'm like telling you how you should live your life and sleep. I swear these are just suggestions and I do a lot of these things. I'm like scolding myself as I'm going over this list, okay? So we can fix it together. Speaking of that, this one I am so guilty of, and it's you're drinking like a camel right before you go to sleep. I don't drink enough throughout the day and then always get really thirsty before I go to sleep. And I just chug so much water, and what happens? Whoopsie daisy, I have to get up in the middle of the night at least once to go to the toilet. And I'm not only affecting my own sleep, but also my partner's sleep because he wakes up as I go to the toilet. It's very, very annoying. And sometimes, like, if your brain wakes up enough as you go to the toilet, it's hard to fall back asleep. It's just honestly terrible, and I will listen to my own advice, which is either do not drink or drink as little as possible 2 hours before you go to sleep. That would obviously mean that you have to drink enough beforehand. And the biggest difference for me is having like a huge water bottle, because this is like more than a liter, and if I drink like 2 of these, I'm good. And that seems a lot less intimidating and like a lot less of a job for me to do than like drinking a bunch of glasses. I don't know, guys. Why does it seem so hard to do the most basic thing that humans do? Drinking water and eating, feeding yourself. I don't have those answers, okay? Number 11, napping like it's a hobby. I've been there. Back when I was in school, I was a napping queen. And I am still a huge fan of naps, but not long naps and not naps that are too late. So keep your naps 20 to 30 minutes max. I used to be like a 3-hour napper. So beat that. That's when I had the worst sleep of my life, so I wonder why that was. This was determined by a much more of an expert than I am, but don't nap after 3 p.m. When do you nap then? In the middle of a workday? I don't know, but that is the advice, okay? So yeah, take it up with the experts, okay? I'm not to blame. And number 12, using alcohol as a sleep aid. Sure, a glass of wine or like a nightcap can knock you out, but it actually wrecks deep sleep and REM. I started drinking a lot less than I used to. Like I barely ever drink, and when I do, it really affects my sleep, and I never noticed it before because alcohol was kind of like a normal thing for me to do. I'm from a Slavic country. Grandma makes desserts, grandpa makes alcohol. Like that's how we roll around here. It's like a part of our everyday for a lot of families. And it was just like a thing, even if it was just a glass of wine with my dinner. Like I kind of got to a point where I felt like I drank on most days. I didn't realize how much it was wrecking my sleep until I actually stopped. If you drink, and if you can, obviously if you're having a party or something, that will be hard to do. But in general, try to stop drinking 3 hours before you go to sleep. That way your body can actually metabolize it before you go to sleep. That is that, guys. That's my list of tips. I wish some of these weren't accurate, okay? I really do. Like, I love a glass of wine before I go to bed. I love a nap. But if your sleep is like wrecked beyond belief, and if your just energy levels are a disaster, it's definitely worth a try. Even if it might be annoying or require some discipline, these things actually do work and make a huge difference. If you struggle with sleep, or if you've ever struggled with sleep, let me know what helped you the most, or what you now know was wrecking your sleep so much that you didn't even realize at the time, because usually you don't notice these things until you stop doing them. So I think that would be very helpful. But if you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I would love for you to stick around and subscribe. And again, check out my Instagram for more content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.